Don't get hit in the head with that brick. Welcome back to the channel. Manny Pacquiao versus Terence Crawford deal has totally collapsed. I kind of figured this was going to happen. The fight that some fans were looking forward to between welterweights Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford won't be happening now after the investors in Saudi Arabia didn't come up with the revenue to make this fight happen. The fight would have been on Showtime. No, the fight would have been shown on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. It would have been Crawford's third pay-per-view event for his career and by far the biggest match for him. But this is your pound for pound boxing. The Pacquiao versus Crawford fight was supposed to have taken place on June 5th in the UAE. Pacquiao 62-7-2, 39 KOs, has signed his portion of the contract to make this fight happen, but Crawford hadn't signed. June 5th is a big day. There's a lot of big fights going on June 5th. It's all over the internet. I think we have Floyd fighting that day. I think we have Teofimo fighting that day. So it's a lot of big fights that were supposed to be taking place on June 5th. Sounds like to me everyone was trying to get money on June 5th. But this is good for Pacquiao since he's very smart in making this decision. With the funds failing to come in, Crawford not signing is no big deal because there was no reason. There was no reason to make Terence Crawford Manny Pacquiao's legacy fight. He's not even worthy to be put in that conversation of legacy. And I'm speaking of Terence Crawford. Crawford had tunnel vision for the Pacquiao fight since his last fight against Errol in late 2020. When asked after the fight if he were interested in Sean Porter, Crawford made it clear that he wanted Pacquiao and he felt confident he'd get the match. In hindsight, Crawford should have been realistic by choosing the easier match to put together against Porter. It's a big disappointment because top-ranked promoter Bob Errol has sounded so confident that the fight would happen when speaking about a month ago. Mike Coppinger revealed the news of the Pacquiao-Crawford deal collapsing. He's not saying what the next move will be for the two welterweights at this particular time. But he's the one who broke the news. Mike Coppinger. For the 42-year-old Pacquiao, he must get back in the ring as soon as possible because he's been inactive since his 12-round split decision win over Keith Thurman in July 2019. Pacquiao can't afford to be picky when choosing his next fight because he needs to get active before losing his skills. If Pacquiao wants a tune-up, Amir Khan will be perfect. He's been pushing for a fight with Manny for ages, and he's nearing the end of his career. It's less of an issue for Crawford, 33, to be sitting active because his last fought in November. He last fought in November, beating former IBF 147-pound champion Errol by a fourth-round knockout. Crawford needed this fight to get a better deal in unification with IBF WBC champion Errol Spence. That fight is doubtful to happen. If Crawford is willing to take a hard fight, he can face Sean Porter, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Jerron Ennis, or Keith Thurman. Those are all pay-per-view worthy fights for Crawford if he's open taking a risky fight. But this is your man's Terence Crawford. Leave me some feedback on this video. Let me know how you feel. I feel like this is a good decision. Terence Crawford really didn't want that smoke.